From the Norman G. Ross Gymnasium on the campus of Escambia High School, WFGX presents High School Hoops. Tonight, the Escambia Gators host the Pine Forest Eagles. Another rivalry matchup, and this one's a district rivalry as well. Both these teams in District 1 7A. On the court right now, the girls teams from these two schools, and Pine Forest handling Escambia. We have about 4 minutes to go in that one. We have a running clock and a 52-16 game right now. So Dan Shugart here with Tommy Thrall. We're ready to bring you the varsity game here, starting a little bit late tonight, but we'll be along in a few minutes. Pine Forest, big game for them tonight. They are 11-7, 3-5 in district play, and very much in the race to try to get into those top 3 spots in the district, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Escambia, it's been a struggle this year, a lot of misfortune. Players leaving the team over December. They're struggling with a 4-12 mark. They're struggling unless you ask their coach Jonathan Austin, because he feels that his team's actually playing its best basketball of the year right now, and we'll talk more detail about that. Dan Shugart, Tommy Thrall here to bring you the action of this game as the Pine Forest Eagles take on the Escambia Gators. Tommy?
Dan, there's so much going on with Escambia. You're trying to change a culture. As you mentioned, you have the distraction of players leaving mid-season. 4 guys that saw some significant time. 3 of those guys were starters, but they've really taken that in stride and done a nice job. When you're trying to change a culture of a program, even though you may be struggling, and they've only won 4 games this year, so that it's been a struggle this year, you still try to improve every game. You still look at every game as an opportunity to try to get your program better. And this team, one thing that we learned from Coach Austin is that they've done a great job of embracing that. And I think that really says a lot for the character of the kids that he's got on this team. They may not have a whole lot to play for at this juncture, but they're still going to go out and bust their tails every night, and they're still going to try to win every game. And I think that speaks volumes for what they're going to do. And if you look at what they've done this year, they're going to compete in every game.
Well, Dan, don't tell them they don't have anything to play for, because, of course, you get to the district tournament, and Tommy Carter, their senior guard, and one of really the guy that they probably depend on the most for leadership, he and Keon Simmons. Tommy Carter said, hey, you get into the district tournament, you get a couple of wins, you're going to the state tournament. They feel they're capable of doing that, and they are playing their best basketball of the year. And so it will be a spirited effort from Escambia. Lots of great stories in a bigger story with Escambia that you might gloss over if you don't take the time to look at the kids who are writing those stories. For Pine Forest, 11-7, they are 3-5 in district play. They have won 6 of their last 8, but at 3-5 in district play, they are currently in 4th place, trying to track down pace. And after tonight, Pine Forest's lone district game is at PHS. So Pace is 4-3 in district play. They've still got 3 games left, including one tonight with Washington. And so Pine Forest, even with a win tonight, is going to have to beat PHS and then get some help to catch Pace and to get into that top 3. Of course, the reason you want to get into the top 3, PHS is the dominant team in the league right now. And if you're going to get into the district tournament, you would much rather catch them in the final rather than the semifinal, which the 4th seeded team would do if everything runs true to form.
And I think when you look at PHS, it's easy to look at it and say, well, maybe that's just hype. We've seen the PHS team firsthand. You've seen them a couple of times, but we saw them against a good Washington team, and they were clearly the better team. That's how good that PHS team is, and that's why they're so dangerous come tournament time, and that's why you talk about it. You don't want to have to face them in a semifinal situation. You'd rather face them in the tournament. That way you still punch your ticket for the state tournament. So it's going to be a very difficult PHS team to get past, and when you talk about this Pine Forest team, that's a team that's still on their docket, so it's going to be tough sledding ahead for Pine Forest once you get past this one in district play.
For those of you not familiar with the way the high school district tournaments and the regional playoffs are set up, the top 2 teams from the district tournaments move on to the state tournament, the regional playoffs. So you have to reach your district championship game, which is why you would rather not catch PHS in the semifinal. You catch them in the final, even if you lose, you're still going to the state tournament. It'll be Escambia and Pine Forest. We'll take a break right here. The girls game wrapping up as Pine Forest wrapping up a win over Escambia. We'll be back, more of the pregame show from Escambia. It'll be Escambia and Pine Forest coming up. We're back to 2 varsity boys teams are on the floor now. Pine Forest and Escambia getting ready to play. They got 10 minutes. We'll be starting this game here. Dan Shugart and Tommy Thrall here with high school hoops. A little bit of a late start. The JV game went to overtime. That put everybody behind. Then Pine Forest knocked off the Escambia girls just moments ago, and we're getting ready here for Escambia and Pine Forest. We talked about some of these great stories with Escambia in a tough year where they've suffered all kinds of misfortune. There are some people who are really stepping up, and they feel they've got a lot to play for going into the district tournament. They haven't conceded anything.
No, one of the guys you mentioned was Tommy Carter, and I think it really speaks volumes to his character. He was a guy that said, you know what, we can still win. We're still good enough, even with those pieces gone, to move forward. He really embraces the challenge that they've got, and believe you me, this is definitely a challenge that they've got in front of him. And I think that really, like I said, I think that really speaks to his character. He's a competitive guy, loves a challenge, and he's certainly embracing the challenge that they have in front of them right now.
We talked about some of the misfortune. They had a good win at Navarre early in the year. Started the year 3-3. They have lost 9 of their last 10. They lost Zachary Blocker, the quarterback from Escambia, who was one of their top starting player inside. And he decided to focus on football, prepare for football, and try to improve his chances of getting a football opportunity, and he certainly has that opportunity. You couldn't blame him for that. You also had a couple of others. Donald Evans left the team in January, as did Jamison King, both for personal reasons. And so one starter, one was the 6th man, so 4 of the top 6 were gone. And then Thomas Wright made some poor decisions and has to live with them, so they lost him as well. So 4 of the top 6 players leaving the team in December, and these are guys, it's a team full of, that didn't have great depth, but a team full of seniors. You lose 4 senior leaders like that, and the rest of them had to step up. And there are 2 ways you can go with that, and they decided to embrace the challenge and make the most of it.
Keon Simmons, another one of those guys that's really stepped up. It's Simmons and Carter that have really kind of carried the load with those guys out, and they've done an excellent job of doing that. And I think that, like I said, I think that's really a big credit to those guys and what they've been able to do in their character.
We will talk a little bit about Pine Forest as the Escambia Gators take the court here for their warm-ups. We'll talk about Pine Forest after this break. Pine Forest and Escambia coming up. Pine Forest and Escambia about 5.5 minutes away from the start of tonight's game. Dan Shugart and Tommy Thrall here with high school hoops. A district matchup, District 1 7A. The Pine Forest Eagles, big one for them, must win for them if they want to get where they want to get, which is the top 3 in the district. There you see the standings, PHS 8-0, Washington behind them, and then Pace at 4-3 playing Washington tonight. Pine Forest has one other district game after tonight. That is with PHS, so they have their work cut out for them. And then Escambia and Milton rounding out the district. We talked about what Escambia has had to overcome. Pine Forest as well. You lose the normal leaders to graduation. Devin Peters there, McClam there as well. They also lost Roy Jones III. He transferred down to Grandview Prep in South Florida, one of the state-ranked team in Class 2A. And so you don't expect to lose a sophomore guard coming back to lead you and then takes off to another part of the state to play for a basketball prep school, and doing very well, by the way. Anyway, so they had to fill some holes maybe they didn't expect either, and they've done a nice job.
Yeah, they have, and they've had to have some guys step up. Khalid Young's one of those guys that has really done a nice job stepping up. He saw some significant playing time, but he was a guy in his junior year last season that was coming off the bench, and he really started to see a little bit more playing time after Christmas last year. Well, now this year he's really moved into more being the senior of the group. And you talk about it, C.J. Washington, their head coach at Pine Forest, he understands the similarities between the 2 programs. He knows that there's parallels, and he said that the 2 coaches have talked a little bit about their situations. That they're both guys that are trying to change the culture of a program, which isn't easy, but they're both going through some of the same struggles at each other's schools.
Sorry about that. We're currying favor with the officials here before tonight's game. We take some long breaks during the game, so we want to get them on our side as soon as we can. There are a few. They have the TJs, TJ McCall and TJ Johnson. Johnson, a senior, maybe the best shooter on the team. Certainly CJ Washington thinks so. And CJ McCall, sophomore inside. They've got some young players at Pine Forest they will be depending on in years ahead. And TJ McCall is certainly a terrific player. Another one of those good freshmen here, Jalen Clausell. a 6'4" freshman who will see some significant minutes tonight as well. Every stop we make in high school hoops this year, we see some freshmen who are playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of the theme that we're getting throughout high school hoops this year. All the coaches raving about the freshmen in this area. And a lot of guys, because of the good, strong AAU programs in the area as well, getting a lot of good experience in their youth. So then they get to the high school level, even as freshmen, and they're experienced and skilled players ready to take that jump. And you saw TJ McCall do that last year. He was a sophomore that got significant playing time, and now you see it again with a guy like Jalen Clausen. So there are guys that are getting experience at a young level, and it's really helping their varsity programs.
All right, we'll take another break here. The team's still warming up, and we will be tipping it off here in just a few minutes. It is Escambia and Pine Forest on High School Hoops. We'll be back. All right, back on the floor. Teams making their way to the bench, and Escambia and Pine Forest getting ready to start here in just a minute or two, as Pine Forest Eagles there looking for their 7th win in their last 9 games. Playing well down the stretch. They suffered a recent loss at Pace. Pace playing great. The Pace Patriots gave PHS their toughest test in district play before falling by 5 points. And to PHS, that's as close as anyone's been to PHS in about a month.
Yeah, that's a Pace team really starting to turn the corner, and you play PHS to 5 points, people are going to take you a little serious, and for good reason.
All right, starting lineups in tonight's game. There you see the Escambia Gators on the court. Number 1 is Martin McGee. He is a 5'7" senior point guard. Number 12 is Trey Lewis, 6'1" senior, playing a forward. Nigel Tart, 6'2", wears number 21. He is a junior forward. Keon Simmons wears 22. And Tommy Carter, a guard, wears 23. Those are the 2 co-captains, both of them seniors. Your starting lineup for Escambia. For Pine Forest, Khalid Young, number 1. Tommy talked about him, 5'10" senior. Javier Smith, a 5'8" senior guard, wears number 4. He runs the show. Number 10 is Quadell Evans, a 6'3" senior forward. TJ McCall, a 6'3" sophomore inside player. And TJ Johnson, a 6' senior, the best shooter on the team in the backcourt. He wears number 30. So senior laden lineup. 4 senior starters for Pine Forest to go with the sophomore. In fact, both these teams will start 4 seniors tonight. Escambia also starts the junior Nigel Tart. Our officials tonight, there you see our referees Michael Black, Desmond Johnson, and Bernard Kemp are the umpires for tonight's game.
Shocking, you know one of these guys.
I know a few. I may have been asked to leave.
No, I don't think we have to worry about that today.
So a little delay here in the as we get the entire scorers table all settled in, and now we are just about ready to go.
Got all the necessary parties in place. Let's play some basketball here tonight. Should be a fun ball game.
TJ McCall jumping for Pine Forest against Keon Simmons. The Escambia Gators in white, Pine Forest in red, and we're underway. Here we go. Pine Forest wins the tip. That is Javier Smith out front for Pine Forest. Escambia will defensively play its a little man-to-man, or is that more of a matchup zone? It's a man-to-man they start with. Mostly man-to-man they'll play. And banging the boards inside. Quadell Evans.
Coming out in that press, Pine Forest early.
And a blocking foul, drawing the foul for Escambia's Nigel Tart. He will go to the line. And the foul goes to 23, TJ McCall, the sophomore. I tell you what, the red jerseys with the blue numerals, my eyes are too old for this.
Makes it tough, doesn't it?
It does.
At least it's not football. We're somewhat close.
So, stepping in the line, hitting the first free throw is Nigel Tart. The areas that Jonathan Austin, the Escambia coach, talked about areas of improvement. He said really they had to get back defensively, stop giving up second chance baskets, and stop turning the ball over. All areas they have improved as a team. And he's been really thrilled with the way his team has responded, not just to the challenges they faced, but also correcting a lot of the mistakes they made early in the year.
And, you know, turnovers is one of those things that you can control. That's something well within your control that you can improve on. So that's one of those things. Maybe you don't necessarily have the athletes for other things. Well, taking care of the basketball, that's one thing. It doesn't matter.
Well, I tell you what, for a while last night, Niceville couldn't control it against Choctaw, and that wasn't a knock on Niceville. Choctaw puts a heck of a lot of defensive pressure on you. But your point is well taken.
And we're going to see a lot of that out of Pine Forest. It's going to be tough for Escambia today. They like the pressure in the full court.
And there's a second chance basket. Two Gators were there and going to the line for a three-point opportunity will be McCall. And the foul's on Simmons. So two quick fouls on the Gators here in the first minute 15. And McCall with a three-point play opportunity. 5-1 Pine Forest. Escambia does not have nearly the size they had earlier, and they were never a big team. Nice move there, and inside, kicking it back out is Simmons. Three-pointer spins out by Carter. And here come the Eagles. Three-pointer off the mark, followed up by McCall. And coming out of there with it, Carter ahead to McGee, and he loses it. Taken away.
It was a good opportunity for McGee, too. Just lost the handle on the basketball. Good idea by Pine Forest here. Javier Smith pulls it out, slows things down.
The question's going to be, can Escambia handle Pine Forest inside? Because they're giving away some size inside.
Good battle between Tart and McCall down there right now, though. And
now they double team the foul coming in. Looks like McGee got him. It is indeed. That's the third foul on Escambia. First on McGee. So McGee has one. Tart and Simmons each with one here in the early going. We played just over 2 minutes. 5-1 Pine Forest.
Sometimes physical aggression can be one of those things that you use to try to compensate for size. You got to be careful they don't get into foul trouble.
On the sideline, that play was created earlier in that sequence by Carter, I believe, on the baseline. He shut off the baseline, forced the tough pass. This is what Escambia has to do defensively. They're not big. What size they had for the most part, they lost. And they really have to scramble defensively. Great look by Simmons as he gets it to Trey Lewis for the basket.
Good speed, good quickness. They've got some athletic ability. Use that to their advantage. Use their speed.
On the offensive boards, that is McCall, and comes away empty. Here comes Simmons coming out with it. Can't get it to go. Javier Smith now dishes it to McCall. Rather, check that. He dished it off to Evans. Quadell Evans loses it out of bounds, but it goes off a Gator.
Simmons really out there playing hard, not only on the defensive boards, but right there defensively knocking the ball out of the hands of Evans, keeping him from getting a look there.
Chris Bell up off the Pine Forest bench, a 6'2 senior, and he gives McCall a spell. And a 3-second violation, camping down in the lane.
Talking about Simmons, adding on to him a little bit. He played a little bit last year as a sophomore. Really brought them a lot of momentum off the bench. Now into a starting role this year. He's played well.
And here come the Eagles again after the turnover. That time converting it is Khalid Young on the break.
Talking about turnovers and being careful with the basketball. That was just a careless pass. Can't afford to give away 3 possessions like that, especially ones that turn into easy buckets.
Tommy Carter with the basket. 8-5 ball game now. Down low again, inside, and knocked loose nicely by Carter, helping out on defense. Simmons has a three. Rebound comes out of there.
Shot didn't look great, but he's a very capable shooter from out there.
And a foul underneath the basket on the charge. I thought at first he was calling a foul on Escambia down low, and then he called it instead an offensive foul on Khalid Young.
C.J. Washington doesn't like the call. I thought I heard the official say he doesn't have to fall down for it to be a charge.
Inside and going to the line will be Nigel Tart as he draws the foul. And that will be Javier Smith. They have now corrected the scoreboard. It is a 7-5 game, and we'll double check all of that. There may be some questions on the scoreboard and questions on the scoreboard versus the scorebook. Now a technical foul on C.J. Washington. He's up off the Pine Forest bench.
I think what this is on is Javier Smith came off the court. Blake Lewis went into the game as the free throw was happening. There was a horn to get the officials' attention to find out confirmation on the foul. So then the player thought that he could go in hearing the horn. Now there was some confusion, and because a player was coming off the floor, another one was going on in the situation, they called the technical foul, and that's just a tough situation there for the Eagles. Unfortunate situation for Pine Forest. And it's not on anybody in particular. It's an administrative.
Administrative technical, right. I was trying to hear the explanation there, and from Michael Black, the referee. And so now they'll sort out who's supposed to be in the ball game. Now after the technical, I believe they allowed the substitution after the technical foul.
Well, he's still on the bench. It's Blake Lewis wanting to come in for Javier Smith.
But they'll shoot the technical, and then he will be allowed on the court.
I think part of that explanation was with C.J. Washington was the horn doesn't give the player permission to come in.
Right.
Usually it's the horn, and then the official will signal him in. Now they'll allow the substitution.
Right. Well, there the foul on the play as well. So Tart was at the line to shoot the personal free throws. Remember the foul before the technical. So now Tart will stay at the line after hitting two. He shoots the technical. So
all the foul shots are taken care of now.
And for all of that, the Gators take an 8-7 lead.
C.J. Washington still trying to get everything sorted out. He's in his second year there at Pine Forest. Really trying to get the culture turned around there. Also coaches track, helps out the football team a little bit with the wide receivers.
And getting the explanation. And at some point, you're done explaining. Say that I've explained all I can explain right now. CJ, I'm not sure is quite buying it. Didn't look like it. Yeah, his second year at Pine Forest. Two young coaches here. C.J. Washington in his second year at Pine Forest, and of course Jonathan Austin in his first year with Escambia.
And for both, their first time as head coaches.
Right. So the Gators, Escambia now on a 7-2 run. Carter to 3. And the rebound pulled down by Evans. And here comes Pine Forest. Just over halfway through this first quarter. They will continue to go low. And a foul on Carter before the shot attempt. Scoring inside. Again, if you're going to get the ball down low there, that's going to be tough to handle. That's Quadell Evans with the basket. And Pine Forest regains the lead, 9-8. Down the lane and scoring. That is Nigel Tart. He's off to a heck of a start.
Boy, he made it look easy to split through defenders down there in the paint. Almost looked like Pine Forest expected him to kick.
Three-pointer by Blake Lewis. Well, now they know why. Now we know why they wanted to get him into the ball game so quickly. On the sideline, that'll stay with Escambia. As coming up with the steal was Khalid Young, but on the sideline. So back and forth we go. Pine Forest holding the 12-10 lead now. Three-pointer on the way. That one's good.
Good defender. He can shoot it a little bit too.
Pulled down by Simmons on the miss, and here come the Gators running the floor. Carter. McGee. Rebound pulled off by Pine Forest, and they're running the floor now. 3-on-1, dumping off inside, nicely done. And drawing the foul is Chris Bell.
Unselfish play by Young. That's a good look to Bell. He was wide open. It looked like an easy shot there for Young from the elbow. You know what? He knew that Bell had a better look down low. He draws the foul, doesn't make the shot, but gets to the line. Good team basketball.
You have a good shot, and you pass it for a better shot. Two and a half minutes to go, first quarter. And Bell misses badly. Chris Bell barely caught the front iron there, so he misses a couple. And the Gators still lead by 1. Busy day at Escambia, hosting the soccer game tonight. Nice shot. That's Simmons.
A real nice take by Simmons. Tough angle, use the glass.
(15-12) Escambia now by 3. We're also seeing a little bit why Jonathan Austin likes the way his team is playing. That's where they have trouble inside. If they can't deny that pass inside, they'll have some issues.
You know, but they played pretty smart basketball today. Very smart, disciplined team. Granted, their experience. A lot of seniors on this team, as we mentioned earlier.
And Simmons, nice block by Evans, and here come the Eagles again running the floor. And followed up and in off the Lewis miss. That's followed in by Bell.
Felt like that may have been a little too easy there for Pine Forest on the putback. Got to get some guys down there to get a rebound. Make it tough at least.
Well, he had 6 lead changes here in the quarter. Make it 7. As Carter.
Great pull up by Carter.
Now that's Young out front, gets the screen, and that's a three-pointer on the way, off the mark, but followed up and in by Bell.
Bell's doing a nice job down around the rim right now. Getting the rebounds, getting the extra chance for Pine Forest.
Final minute, final 30 seconds of the first quarter. And he's got to get out of there to get up and get the ball out of there anyway. And even a missed shot. Here comes Pine Forest. Maybe they'll take the last shot. They will back it up. It's T.J. Johnson, number 30, with the ball out here midcourt. 10 seconds to go. Now 5 to the hoop. And there's a foul on Tart, I believe. And it will be Nigel Tart.
2 already for him in this first quarter. He's got to watch out. Now finds himself in a little foul trouble. He gives him some size down low too, so he'll probably have to sit out for much of the second quarter. That's a big loss for them.
Dave Young goes to the free throw line. And stretches the Pine Forest lead to 2. A competitive first quarter here. Pine Forest to open up that quick 5-1 lead, but back and forth we go. We've had 8 lead changes in the first quarter. And it's a 2-point ball game.
Young's really their big scorer, but he's been fairly quiet tonight.
Yeah, that tends to even out.
It will, no doubt.
And the heave will be wide left, but a pretty good first quarter. Pine Forest takes a 3-point lead to the bench after 8 minutes of play. 20-17 after 1. All right, we played 1 quarter of basketball, and Pine Forest with a 3-point lead, 20-17. Escambia inbounds it to start the second quarter. And Pine Forest in that zone now. Simmons out front, up off the Escambia bench. Substitution first whistle. We have a whistle, and so into the ball game will be Rodriguez English will come in to replace McGee. Martin McGee. English, the backup point guard, and I'm not sure McGee ever needs a rest, but sometimes if he gets in foul trouble, and you're going to have to give him a rest, but he's one of those guys who can go all day. English, though, giving him a bit of a breather now. Nice drive to the hoop. Terrific shot. Devin Weatherspoon in the ball game, a sophomore, another one of those youngsters. 22-17. Now Pine Forest with a 5-point lead. It is their biggest here in the early going, and a foul before the shot attempt on the pass off as Darius Kyler, number 25, is in the ball game. And the foul by Javion Gardner. So lots of new faces in there to start the second quarter. That's English inbounding at number 10. That's Carter back out to English under some duress. Simmons at the high post still in there. 25, Darius Kyler for Escambia. There he is, number 25, gets all alone and takes a nice pass and converts.
Great move to the basket. Drew all the attention, left Kyler wide open. Good vision to find him, and he was able to finish it. Good team basketball.
Another good look, and converting is Blake Lewis. Inside.
Really impressed by both of these teams here early on.
It's Carter in the corner. He doesn't take a lot of threes, but he's not averse to it. And there goes baseline. There's Kyler, and the sophomore got the contact, but then tried to throw up the tough shot. He's a guy they're expecting a lot out of in the future. A sophomore with tremendous athletic ability, number 25 in white. And there he picks up the foul as guarding 25 feet from the basket, putting a little pressure on Weatherspoon. A couple of youngsters going at it there. You have Kyler and Weatherspoon, both sophomores, and Kyler picks up the foul.
Dan, on the other end, I thought Kyler kind of tried to, he wanted the contact, but he didn't really go after it. Like that's one, go to the basket. He kind of took the shot fading away. A little tougher to get the call that way. I think if you go more to the basket, take another dribble and go up aggressive, you maybe have a better shot to get that call.
Another promising sophomore in the lineup now for Escambia, number 3, Marcus Rayford. Free throw up, no good. That was Weatherspoon missing the free throw. 5-point lead now for Pine Forest. There is your left-handed shooter off the mark. That is Marcus Rayford. He's a sophomore, and when he can get hot, and Jonathan Austin called him the best shooter in the city, but he's one of those guys who's a sophomore. And we saw this a couple times last night. A turnover by Pine Forest. The pass, the would-be recipient cutting to the basket, or just cutting, and the pass goes where he was.
Oliver certainly expecting Gardner to stay outside. Gardner made a cut to the basket, wasn't even looking for the pass. And now we'll see if Escambia can take advantage of this turnover.
Well, we're looking at Marcus Rayford, the sophomore, number 3 for Escambia. And again, they really think he can turn into a terrific scorer. Great natural touch shooting. But the problem is, if he misses a couple early, a sophomore on a senior-laden team is afraid to overshoot. Nice drive there by Simmons.
I think they'd be okay with him letting loose a little more. Go ahead, fire it up there.
Well, there's no doubt about it. They want him to shoot. That's
something as a young player you need to learn. As a shooter, you're always told to shoot through the drought.
And there's a left-handed three-pointer on the way, and good. That is a Hampton Hyundai three-point shot by Weatherspoon, the sophomore. Devin Weatherspoon launches that three. And a timeout on the floor, 27-21. Yeah, timeout for a moment. We'll stay on the floor now. And
I think the players thought that there was a timeout. Then I think the net got hung up.
And I don't know if that's an injury issue on the Escambia bench. It could be. They look like English over there. And McGee's back in. That was Rodriguez English. Simmons to the hoop. And gets it back as keeping it alive was Kyler. Three-pointer on the way. In and out. That's 0 for 2 for Rayford, but that would look pretty good leaving his hand.
Yeah, great look for him.
And you can't let him penetrate like that. That is Weatherspoon again driving to the basket. We're seeing why they like this sophomore so much. 29-21. Pine Forest has opened an 8-point lead, and they take a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep that right here.
Well, what I liked about that last possession, and here you get another look at that bucket by Weatherspoon. Boy, just a good take. Got by the defender. And I think Tommy Carter was talking with Jonathan Austin after that. He brought his hand down. Instead of stepping in front, maybe try to take the charge there. Instead, he kind of swiped at him from the side. Good way to get called for the foul. He didn't really got away with a foul there. But on the other side for Pine Forest, or Escambia, what I liked on their last possession, they moved the ball around. Found an open shooter. They didn't force anything up. That's how you get your way out of a drought. That's how you break a run. Take smart shots. Try to get it to the basket if you can. Penetrate. Right there they had the open look from 3 with a good shooter. Go ahead and take it. But you've got to take high percentage shots right now. Of course, the timeout, hopefully they'll settle down a little bit. They can close this gap and shut off the run.
8-point Pine Forest lead, and as we talked about in the pregame show, Escambia in this stretch of 9 losses in 10 games, they've lost a lot of close games. And so times like this, there goes Rayford again. That's 0 for 3 now, including 2 3-pointers. But maybe he's getting the idea that, hey, go ahead and put it up there. You're going to get hot eventually.
Well, again, it's a good look. He's open. You want him to take that shot.
And nice penetration as he getting loose and scoring inside is McCall. Or was that Clausel? McGee loses it. Nice steal. And laying it up and in at the other end is Donnie Culliver. (33-21) suddenly it's a 12-point ball game. Inside, and a block shot inside is Kyler. And converting at the other end is Blake Lewis.
Well, you said early, and we talked about it, they were going to have a difficult time down low, and right now they're having trouble getting the ball inside, getting points down to the post, and they're getting beat on the other side on the defensive rebounds, because right now Pine Forest getting a lot of their own rebounds and doing a great job on the offensive boards to create second chances.
Marcus Payne had that block shot before on the previous play, picked up the foul there. And up off the Pine Forest bench, T.J. Johnson. Going to the free throw line, Simmons. Big start to this second quarter. We've got 2:38 to play. And Simmons will get one more. It's a 15-4 Pine Forest run in this quarter.
As hot as they are right now with this run the way they are, and now Quadell Evans walking off with the trainer, the noticeable limp. You got to make your free throws in a situation like this, especially with Pine Forest on the run that they're on.
Actually, Rodriguez English. We don't want Evans' family to be concerned of Rodriguez English for Escambia going off.
I was looking
the
at
other
my wrong,
number 10.
looking at my wrong roster. I apologize. Sorry to put fear in the Evans family.
Nice move. What a shot.
Wow.
Drawing the foul and getting a three-point opportunity. That is Khalid Young.
I lied. I'll take the blame for that.
I can't. It was 11 instead of
Lewis.
1.
Yeah,
Blake Lewis.
We both couldn't see it that time.
I can, yeah. This is really, that's the shot we have to have every time. I tell you what, from our position here, I can't.
I try to help, and instead I just mess you up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I can do that by myself. 37-22, 15-point Pine Forest lead. That's Simmons, and a foul on the pass by Simmons. And the foul is going to be on Jalen Clausel. And a timeout on the floor is going to be a 22nd timeout, so we will keep that right here. 2:12 to play. It's a big second quarter so far for Pine Forest, leading 37-22. It's a 17-5 second quarter into the ballgame for Pine Forest. When they do resume, Quadell Evans does get up off the bench just to let his family know he's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. It turns out he's okay. Wrong guy. No, I tell you what, that guy, he's having a
not
tough
okay.
day. No, he is not.
The Pensacola Honda fan cam. I don't know if he's just concerned about the 15-point margin or if he's really seeing some bad news on his phone. And the Gator cheerleaders also here on the Pensacola Honda fan cam. It's a big gym, and it's one of the older gyms in the area. There's a lot of history in here. Norm Ross, coach here from 1974 to 1996 before moving over to school administration.
I just love these old gyms. They're they're filled with so much character.
This is a lot brighter right now. They changed the lights. They didn't change the light bulbs, I don't think, in Norm Ross' 22 years here. We have some video. There's Simmons, nice drive, but blocked again. I believe Payne got a piece of it. Now we're in the final 2 minutes of the first half. So Pine Forest has built that 15-point lead, and then they do a little preservation here of this lead and take some time off the clock as well. Don't give Escambia a chance to make a little bit of a run to make it close at the half, or closer. T.J. Johnson out front. Escambia in that zone. Johnson. And rather, that's Evans getting the ball and penetrating, but turning it over. So 1:28 to play, and the Gators do get the opportunity. Here's one of those full court pressure. We haven't seen that yet tonight, but Pine Forest did spring it on him, and Escambia handles it. Carter kicks it over to McGee, back to Carter. And Carter, nice shot. That's a big shot, too.
Yeah, he needs to get going, and a shot like that sometimes can get you back on track.
And now 1 minute to play in the first half. And again, there's Evans. And the rebound comes off to the Gators. It's Carter. Carter pushing it up the floor. And he draws the foul. And a technical foul as well. So the foul is on Blake Lewis. And C.J. Washington I'm not sure CJ liked the call, but he liked the reaction of his man. And I tell you what, he looked like he was pretty well set.
Well, they gave the technical. They tried to put the technical on number 11, and I think it's actually going to be on Javier Smith.
Yeah, he was the one who drew the charge. Well, I'll tell you what, the 4 looked like an 11 from here because his jersey was folded.
Yeah.
And they're having problems on the court as well.
Good to know we're in good company.
Yeah. So there will be the technical free throws. So Carter hits 2 so far, and now the personal free throws, now the technical. And Javier Smith still shaking his head right in front of us. That's 3. Well, this is the second time tonight Escambia has been able to shave a significant deficit with technical free throws. They did it back in the first quarter when Pine Forest had gotten off to a quick 5-1 and then 7-3 lead. And they had 3 free throws then. This time a couple of technical free throws and 4 consecutive free throws by Tommy Carter, make it 37-28. So he has the he draws the foul, makes those 2 free throws, hits both technical free throws, and now the Gators get the ball. So they're down 9 after trailing by 15 a moment ago.
Got to take advantage of this possession.
3-pointer, no, and the rebound is knocked out to Pine Forest, kept alive.
Great hustle, wow.
By Lewis for Escambia, and that's Michael Likely in the ball game, number 11 as well. Now Carter has it out front. 25 seconds ago, the Gators are not going to press their luck. That one-handed pass is dangerous out there at midcourt. But Carter backs it up now with 15 seconds to go. And 10 seconds as he starts the play. McGee to the corner, back to McGee, knocked out of bounds, and it'll stay with Escambia with 3.4 seconds to go. Nice play over there by TJ Johnson. And so now the Gators will have to rush it a little bit. 3.4, they have time, but Carter may have to throw up a 35-footer. He's not even going to get that. So the Gators don't get the shot off, so that is not the possession they're going to be proud of to end the half, but they sure got a break with the basket by Carter, and that followed up by 4 free throws by Carter, and they pull within 9 at the half after trailing by as many as 15. Halftime here at Escambia. Pine Forest leads the Gators 37-28. Back with halftime, including Escambia principal Frank Murphy coming up. It is halftime here at Escambia, where the Pine Forest Eagles lead the Escambia Gators 37-28 at the half. The Gators coming up with 6 straight points late in the second quarter to close the gap from 15 down to 9. So we're ready for our second half here in about 8 minutes or so. Time now for our Alexander Shannara, A+ athlete who comes from Escambia. She is Casey Durant. She is a 3.92 student, unless you go with her weighted GPA, which is 4.4. Plays golf and volleyball, softball, and she is a legacy and a rich one at Escambia. Her brother Jake played baseball here, went on to play for PSC, and then is now studying aeronautical engineering at Bethune-Cookman. Her dad, Rick Durant, played baseball here, went on to the University of Florida, played there, was drafted by the Mets. And she is a second cousin to Joe Durant, who's done a little bit of work on the PGA and now the Champions Tour. Our A+ athlete, presented by Alexander Shannara, Casey Durant.
I feel good. I feel like all my hard work has paid off and all the extra hours of studying on top of sports. And I want to thank all my teachers and my coaches and my parents and brother.
Halftime here, the Escambia Gators hosting us tonight for Hill Kelly High School Hoops. 37-28, the Pine Forest Eagles lead at the half. I'm joined here by Frank Murphy, who has connections to both schools, and is now the principal at Escambia High School after a successful tenure at Pine Forest. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being here and showcasing high school basketball here in Northwest Florida, Dan. Appreciate it.
Well, very good. We're delighted to do it. Well, let's start there because we've talked about, we've covered the Friday night high school football games for a while. Now that we're doing this with basketball as well, we're trying to promote obviously the sport in the area. So, how do you make the entire athletic program? How do you emphasize all of that and the importance of that for you?
Well, for us, all the programs are very important. Student athletes come first, and we want the community to know that we're behind each of our programs. We don't weigh one more importantly than the other because our kids are involved. First comes academics and then athletics, and we feel like that the sports programs here at Escambia offer wonderful opportunities for kids to advance themselves into the college level and beyond.
We talk about coaches coming in and establishing a culture. A principal does the same thing in a school. So what are the areas of emphasis for you when you came into Escambia?
I think for me it was to reconnect with the community, and this is a wonderful area. The kids are outstanding. The parents, hardworking community. It was to come in to build pride, get the school excited again about what we do here at Escambia, both in the classroom and the hallways, on the athletic playing fields, and that wasn't hard because this is a wonderful school. Next year we're celebrating 60 years, so we've been doing it a long time, and we feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Had a nice visit with your first-year basketball coach, Jonathan Austin, and we know that it's been a struggle over the last several years in the basketball program here. Impressive young man. What did you see in him?
Just that. I mean, we went after a coach that we felt like could build a program, young coach that could bring some excitement. He's really intelligent. I mean, he does an amazing job in the classroom in the language arts department, and he had to do that first and then come in and be a coach second. And he met all of those criteria that we set through the interview process and our committee that met, and we were all very impressed with John when he came over and felt like that we got the right person for the job. And he's building a program. Of course, the year hasn't always gone like he's wanted it, but it's moving in the direction that we like to see. And we're excited about the future of Escambia High School boys basketball.
Well, you got some young men on this team who've put up with a lot of adversity and seem to have handled that very well.
Absolutely.
All righty.
Thank you,
Frank
Dan.
Murphy, appreciate your having us here. We are delighted to be here.
Joy. Thank you.
Bet. Frank Murphy, the principal here at Escambia High School. Pine Forest leads the Gators 37-28 at the half. We'll be back. The Pine Forest Eagles back on the floor, 37-28. They lead by 9 after leading by as many as 15 late in that second quarter. Escambia scoring the final 6 points of the second quarter to get it back to single digits. Another close game. We talked about Escambia. They've lost 12 games this year. 5 of the 12 have been single-digit losses, and there are a couple of double-digit losses were single-digit losses late in the game.
Right.
So they've been competitive, and they've made a run, but they got to find a way to get over that hump.
Well, and we've seen why they stay competitive. They're a physical team. They go out there, a very aggressive team. But right now, Pine Forest looks to be a little bit too much for them down low. There you see a good look from Trayshawn Lewis. He's done a nice job in this ball game. He was an instant spark once he came in. And another guy, Tommy Carter's had a nice game. 10 points. He's led the scoring for Escambia so far here early on. And Nigel Tart's got in on the act as well with 6 points. He's had a nice game. Really, he's got it done at the free throw line. But Pine Forest with some great athleticism. Chris Bell was another guy that kind of gave them a spark off the bench. He's done a lot for him down low. And Devin Witherspoon also with a 3. He's got 7 today so far.
All right, they've buzzed the teams off the floor, 37-28. It is Pine Forest building that 9-point lead. By the way, we do want to remind you that Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram donates $500 to the host school for high school hoops, for each high school hoops broadcast. And so far this season, Hill Kelly has donated $2,500 to local schools as part of high school hoops. We certainly thank the good folks at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram for supporting high school basketball in Northwest Florida. All right, ready to go here in the third quarter now as Pine Forest will inbound the ball to start this third quarter, leading by 9. That is Khalid Young inbounding it. And gets it over to Javier Smith, and now Escambia Man-to-man defense. Actually, yeah, man-to-man it is.
Really, overall, their defense, I think, has been pretty good. It's been in transition where they've had some issues.
Transition, and they've had, at least in the early going, they had a hard time stopping the ball out front. Penetration killed them and set up the inside game for Pine Forest. Doing a better job staying in front of their man here. Defensive switch out there is Tart. It's really a 5-guard lineup for Escambia. Coming up with a loose ball. Nice job by Carter. That is Simmons now. 3-pointer on the way and off the mark again by Trayshawn Lewis. The Hampton Hyundai 3-pointer not falling tonight for Escambia.
They're capable shooters, and if they start to fall for Escambia, they can really put up some points in a hurry, and they can not just hang with, but they could really give Pine Forest some trouble.
Carter, that's a 3-pointer on the way, and that is a Hampton Hyundai 3-pointer. And it gets the Gators within 6.
Continue to play good defense. That's just a good bucket. That's really tough to defend from McCall.
And the whistle, and that foul is on Quadell Evans. So the Gators bring it back up now, trailing by 8. And Carter hit his last 3. They're going to give him a look again. That's off the mark. And the rebound claimed by Evans. Evans will pull up. Over the top for the rebound, but unable to convert is Evans. Just banging the boards. And Evans finally gets it to go.
A lot of opportunities there for Pine Forest, but Escambia, even though they couldn't get a defensive rebound, they had guys down there, and a couple of times they were even in position. They were just outsized.
And inside, Simmons picks it up after Tart was blocked inside.
After a block, easy to give up on that play. They didn't, stayed with it.
Down the lane goes Evans. Nobody picks him up. That's a defensive breakdown there.
Awfully easy there for Evans.
And Simmons will go to the line, drawing the foul on Javier Smith. Check that. No, but it'll be McCall instead.
Well, that's a good physical take to the basket. That's drawing the foul.
I have McCall for 3.
Well, that's 2 of us then.
All right. Which is no guarantee that's right.
Oh, I mean, if there's 2 of us, that practically makes it official.
So Simmons goes to the free throw line.
Well, he comes out of the game now for Chris Bell, so I'm going to guess that's why he's out of the game. Those 3 fouls.
I have 8 points for Simmons.
Again, we have the same total, so therefore it must be official.
I tell you what, Escambia is staying in the game at the free throw line. 11 for 13 from the line tonight. Down by 8 with 5:20 to go in the third. Carter, nice job keeping the rebound alive, which you normally do on the offensive boards, but he had to do that on the defensive board and finally corralled it.
They've got to do a good job of getting those defensive rebounds, not allowing Escambia the extra possession.
Great pass by Simmons, and he got it to Kyler. Penetrating against the zone, and it's a 6-point ball game again.
Again, drew the attention, had the guy wide open. Good look to Carter. Good vision to see that.
Pass deflected and stolen. It was deflected. And taking it all the way is Kyler. And Simmons cleans it up.
That time on the offensive boards, creating the second chance. Great job by Lewis interrupting the passing lane.
All right, the Gators have closed within 4 of the Eagles, 43-39. We'll take a break. At Escambia High School, where the Gators have closed to within 4 of the Eagles. We saw a couple of big comebacks last night in our thriller at Niceville and Choctaw. Well, the two teams doing it here again tonight. Escambia making a couple of runs. The Pensacola Honda fan cam. Most of the fans are behind us here on the near sideline here at Escambia tonight. Inside, drawing the foul and going to the line for a three-point play for Pine Forest is Quadell Evans.
Kyler curious about what he did to pick up that foul. He brought the hands down. As soon as the hands come down, it's almost automatic they're going to get called with that foul.
12 points now for Quadell Evans for Pine Forest. And the rebound comes off to Kyler. Ball knocked loose, and Simmons gets it to go. That ball's knocked loose by McGee. And Pine Forest now, boy, I tell you, Escambia did a nice job getting back defensively because Pine Forest had 2 players alone. And Simmons did such a good job getting back defensively along with Carter. Simmons up on the stage, thought he was fouled, three-pointer in and out. Simmons.
What a series. First of all, as you mentioned, getting back on defense, forcing the bad shot, then getting the rebound, and staying with that possession. Wow.
Escambia trailed by 15 points in the final 2 minutes of the second quarter. They pulled within 2.
That's just a good take by Evans right there. The defense was good. Sometimes a guy just makes a play.
Pine Forest has scored 10 points in his third quarter. Evans has 8 of them. Simmons, offensive foul. Setting up was Chris Bell and draws the charge. Nice play by Bell defensively. I've got 14 points now for Quadell Evans. I hope that's what you've got.
That's what I've got. And we know what that means.
Yeah, we know what that means.
It's good as gold right there.
2 of us wrong. 47-43 Pine Forest. And the lane goes Young. That's not good, but offensive boards. And traveling inside. Harassing. McGee was harassing the offensive rebounder, who I believe was Clausel inside, and may have forced that turnover. McGee controls that.
Got to be
now
careful.
2-on-1. And converting on the 2-on-1. Kyler takes it. Darius Kyler.
So athletic, really uses his size and his length. An aggressive take.
The ball's knocked loose. It goes off Pine Forest out of bounds. Escambia gets the ball back with a chance to tie it.
Gators have to be smart with this possession. Continue to take care of the basketball.
McGee kicks it to the corner to Simmons. Inside is Kyler. Jonathan Austin wanted a foul inside, but Kyler might have just rushed it.
Right.
You got to be stronger inside, but again, they're playing against bigger defenders.
Good situation there for a pump fake. See if you can get the guy to go by and maybe draw a foul.
Well, here's a guy, Kyler, is a youngster. He's just a sophomore, hadn't played that much basketball, and that's one of those refined areas that he'll work on in the years ahead. And that is Khalid Young taking it.
That was just a little too easy for Khalid Young.
Dishing it off and laying it up and in. That's Trey Lewis with the basket, and Simmons sets it up. Back and forth we go, and a steal by the Gators. This is where they have to play it. Carter. And that'll be a jump ball as Kyler, the shot is blocked. Nice play by Evans defensively. The alternating possession stays with Escambia here. Great defensive play by the senior, Quadell Evans, number 10.
Tremendous, and I thought the officials did an excellent job of getting that call right.
Rebound, or rather the three-pointer no good, and Carter commits the foul. Gators are still frustrated that there was no foul call in the previous play, but as we saw in the replay, that was a heck of a defensive play by Quadell Evans.
Right now, they're getting back into the game. The crowd's getting into this game. Escambia, when they get the ball back on offense, they've just got to settle down. When you rally like this, sometimes you have a tendency to get ahead of yourself.
Carter, boy, read that pass and almost came up with a steal on the wing. And if he had done that, he would have gotten ahead of himself because he would have been able to take it down the sideline. There was nobody back. Simmons Simmons comes up with a rebound eventually after the miss by Quazell. And here you go, 2-on-1. Tyler dishes it off, and we're tied up. That is Trey Lewis with the basket. 49-49, and Pine Forest calls a timeout with 52 seconds to go in the quarter. And we will take a break, full timeout. We'll take a break right here. 51.9 to go. We're all tied at 49. All right, third period, 51.9 seconds to go in the quarter. And Escambia has come from 15 points down to tie things up 49 all. Pine Forest now with the possession here in the final minute of the third quarter. Second straight night, great comeback, and we may have a great finish. 5-second violation. Great defensive pressure by Marcus Rayford, the sophomore, and he gets the turnover on the junior Blake Lewis. So Escambia now, 43 seconds to go in the third quarter, and they have a chance to take a lead.
Boy, we were told he likes to compete. Does he ever? How about that lockdown defense right there? Great job by the sophomore.
Escambia has not led since the game was 17-16 at the end of the first quarter, or near the end of the first quarter. 24 seconds to go. Pine Forest, they may put a little pressure on the ball here. We've seen some teams overplay their hand. Now 12 seconds to go. Escambia, Carter takes it. The short jumper does not go. Tyler blocked nicely. Quazell with the block shot. And we will go to the fourth quarter, all tied up at 49. Who could ask for more? Escambia has come from 15 down to make a game of it going into the fourth. All right, there's Jonathan Austin agonizing, but I think C.J. Washington may be agonizing more than that. There's C.J. for Pine Forest. It's a tie ball game, 49 all, going into the fourth quarter. Pine Forest starts the quarter with the ball and gets the easy basket. Inside, that is Evans again. 16 points now for Quadell Evans. And some full court pressure from Pine Forest. Kyler, and he will go to the line as he draws the foul, driving the baseline. So some of that lobbying in the third quarter when Jonathan Austin was wondering where the fouls were on the penetration may be paying off as he draws the foul from Jalen Quazell.
I remember earlier in the game, Kyler kind of faded away when he tried to look like maybe draw a foul. That was a much better job, going right to the contact, drawing the contact. Now you got to make your free throws.
The sophomore misses the first. It's his first trip to the line tonight. Escambia, 11 for 14 from the line. Now 11 for 15 as he misses them both.
Keep in mind, TJ McCall, still on the bench with 3 fouls for Pine Forest. When he's been in there, he's been a good weapon for him, both offensively and defensively.
And down low getting the basket. Inside is Quazell again. Hart, and the defense just stayed right there. Nice job defensively inside by Quazell, getting another block. Ball was kicked by Simmons, so on the violation, Pine Forest will get the ball and a timeout on the floor. Escambia calls the timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay right here.
I want to go back to that last possession by Escambia. Tight game. You get the ball down low. You're double teamed under the basket. That's a good situation where you just turn and kick it back out. Odds are somebody's open right there. It's a tough situation. And again, here's another look. So there's nothing he can do with this basket. The defenders are staying straight up. Just duck it and kick it back out. See if you can reset the offense there.
Well, again, it's a sophomore. It's a young player. Hadn't played a lot, certainly not at this level. He's a guy that Jonathan Austin loves Kyler's potential. He said, he really could. Now, there's a lot of development that has to happen, but he could develop into a D1 type of player, type of talent. He can jump out of the gym, and he's going to only get bigger.
And I know Jonathan Austin wanted the foul there. I just didn't see it. But I understand there's probably some contact there. But I think the smart play there is still to kick it back out. And that's something as a sophomore you learn moving forward.
Well, in the games, they've let it is a physical game, and that's the officials have been very consistent. That's the way they're going to call it. Let it go a little bit. And again, banging the boards inside. Finally, Escambia ties up the Eagles inside. That's Clausel banging the board. I'm not sure the way he's played that they really miss McCall right now.
Right.
Clausel's doing a heck
right.
of a job.
He's done an excellent job in there.
And here comes that 2-2-1 trap, the 2-2-1 full court pressure. They'll probably try to trap near midcourt if they get that chance.
We're talking about Clausel. Watching him play, you wouldn't know he's a freshman.
Carter. He'll take it. Won't get it, but following it up and in again, that is Simmons. We almost don't have to look at the number when one of the Gators follows a shot in. It's going to be Simmons.
17 by my count for him today. A huge game for Keon Simmons. He's really done an excellent job.
And they forced a turnover at the other end, so the Gators now with a chance, down 2. It's Tart in the corner. And Carter. McGee. Tough pass in traffic. And a foul before the shot. Boy, that was a tough shot by Simmons. He got to go. But he was fouled before the shot by Jalen Clausel. That's at least 3 fouls on Clausel.
That was the right call, too. Came down with that arm, slapped him right on the arm.
There's Carter, mid-range, can't get it to go, but again, Kyler is there. He can't get it to go, but there's Tart. And finally pulling the rebound down for Pine Forest and drawing the foul is Evans. They've had some looks.
Now I've got that being 3 on Kyler as well. That was a good possession, though. They don't have any points out of it, but you know what? They got some good shots, got some good looks, got some offensive rebounds. They did a lot of things well. Sometimes the possession just ends up empty.
53-51 Pine Forest by 2. That three-pointer's off the mark. Not sure they needed that. Carter. And that ball out of bounds off Pine Forest. And McCall pointing to Carter. I think he thought Carter touched it last. He threw up an air ball on a tough layup. Carter does a nice job saving that inbounds pass. Forces it inside, but draws the foul before the shot attempt.
Now 4 on Clausel.
Heck. McCall and Clausel are both in there at the same time, so you can't bring McCall in to spell Clausel. Simmons, and he'll draw another foul and have a three-point opportunity. And that is Clausel. I believe that's his 5th. That is number 5 on Clausel. Boy, he picked up numbers 3, 4, and 5 in a hurry. But Keon Simmons with a three-point opportunity. He's got 19. There is the senior. You know, we talked about those guys who hung in there when this season really could have gone south. And there's one guy you're looking at right there. He's one of them, and Carter's another. who just would not let this season and this team go south. And a three-point play gives Escambia the lead for the first time since the first quarter. And it doesn't last 10 seconds. That is McCall scoring for Pine Forest. So back and forth we go. 5 minutes to go.
Be smart with the basketball if you're Escambia. Don't try to force anything.
That is Simmons. That's off the mark. Ball knocked out of bounds. Off of Pine Forest. Off of McCall. And McCall is screaming that Nigel Tart, 21, is the one who knocked it out of his hands. But instead, it'll stay with Escambia. So Pine Forest with a 1-point lead. Escambia. And C.J. Washington's up off the Pine Forest bench. He's going to take a timeout. We will too. 4:39 to play. Pine Forest leads at 55-54. Here's that play right there. Who's it off? Well, it might have gone off McCall's leg.
Might have.
It appeared. All right, back to live action now as Escambia is inbounding it. That is Carter. Carter dishes it to Simmons. Simmons, 22 points for number 22. And Escambia regains the lead.
Good move. Way to split the double team there. Got between the defenders, created a good look.
And of course, Pine Forest responds by going inside. And Evans scores to give the Eagles the lead at 57-56, and they'll set up that full court pressure.
Escambia has really done a nice job of handling that today.
They have. You have Carter and McGee really handling it, and then you have Simmons with a little runner. Pine Forest with a 1-point lead, 3:45 to play. Right down the lane and laying it up and in is Khalid Young.
Wow, he is some kind of athlete. We talked early, kind of had a quiet game through the first quarter. Now he's up to 10.
McGee to the corner, three-pointer from Lewis. That is a Hampton Hyundai three-pointer, and it gets these Gators even.
Boy, that's a big-time three. His second of the day. Wide open look. Knocked it down in a key spot.
We've had 12 lead changes in this game and 2 ties. And Escambia, rather, Pine Forest came up with the offensive rebound, but Simmons came up with a steal. Carter now. And Carter dribbles into trouble. It gets tied up, and that will belong to Pine Forest.
He was trying to do something there that I thought was really smart. He ran into traffic, tried to slow it up. They just had the ball picked right out of his pocket.
Trey Lewis, by the way, is now in double figures with 12 after that big three-pointer that tied it. 3:05 to play, second straight night here on Hill Kelly High School Hoops. We have a beauty down the stretch.
Some fun basketball. It's good when you get a couple rivals together.
Yep. And a foul and a hand check called on Trey Lewis. So Pine Forest will inbound it again. 2:51 to play now. Escambia in that pressure man-to-man defense, but inside and drawing the foul and a three-point chance. Who else? Quadell Evans down the stretch.
And Kyler's been big today for him, but now he's got 4 fouls.
20 points for Quadell Evans. 14 here in the second half. And a chance for a three-point play and a three-point lead with 2:39.
You saw him just get by Kyler there. And so Kyler used the foul to try to make up for it.
Three-point play for Quadell Evans. 21 points for him. And Pine Forest leads by 3, 62-59. Escambia battled back from a 15-point deficit late in the second quarter to tie the game here in the fourth. And actually take a lead on a couple of occasions. And Simmons again.
Wow. He's on fire. And another tremendous take.
Wild shot, but on the offensive boards, that's McCall. And a steal, and Pine Forest converts. So a huge mistake by Escambia and a big play by Weatherspoon. Devin Weatherspoon, the sophomore for Pine Forest, and suddenly, just like that, it's a 5-point ball game with 2:04 to play.
Yeah, you just can't allow that. You can't make mistakes like that. You can't get careless with the basketball. That was just a careless inbound. Guy was there to take it away. He did. Weatherspoon had the easy bucket. He was the only one under the basket. You just got to. They've played so hard and they've done such a great job. See, the pass was just a little too nonchalant. It turns into an easy basket.
Yeah, that was a pass by Nigel Tart. We've seen that a few times against pressure defense. There's been some soft passes that they've gotten away with, and it's the kind of thing you're seeing at this time of the ball game. We talked about Escambia. They're better than their record. They've been more competitive than a 4-12 record, but you're seeing why some of these late games have gotten away from them.
Well, that's just not finishing right there. I mean, you've played so hard all game. You got to keep it up for another couple of minutes. I know you're tired. Your legs are tired. Your arms are weak, but you just got to find a way to stick it out. They've played too good to let this one slip away with careless mistakes like that.
All right, so it's McGee and Carter in the backcourt. Simmons in the ball game as well for Escambia, along with Kyler, 25, and Lewis, number 12. And now the Gators trailing by 5 as we head into the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Simmons gets it to go again. 26 for Simmons.
Who else, right?
66-63. And a great drive and a great take by the sophomore Weatherspoon.
That was Simmons, too. If he just slides over, didn't have an eye on the basketball, lost track of where it was.
Carter draws the foul, and he will go to the line. Strong move to the basket by Carter. And the foul is on McCall. So it's a 5-point game. The Gators have been good from the line tonight, but Carter has to come up big here. Down 5 with a minute 27. Gets them both. The Gators are now 14 for 18 from the line tonight.
Dan, by my count, he's 6 for 6.
Down the lane again, backed up, no good. Offensive rebound, no, but Pine Forest, only red jerseys there. And that's Evans to bang it home. Short jumper is off the mark, and now we head to the final minute. Pine Forest with the ball and a 5-point lead. At some point, Gators are going to have to foul here, down 5. Kyler's got 4 fouls.
Pine Forest has no intentions of throwing up a shot.
Nor should they, and Simmons has to give the foul with 39.6 to go. And see the frustration on Keon Simmons. What an effort for him tonight. He's an ROTC student. He is a great senior leader on this team. He has certainly carried the Gators tonight with 26 points.
we had on him, he knocks down the open shots. Well, he's created a lot of shots in traffic today.
And at the line and sinking the first free throw is Khalid Young. $12 points for Young now as he hits both free throws, and it's a 72-65 ball game. Simmons is called for the offensive foul,
and it was. He just got out of control there on the drive into the paint.
And Khalid Young, the senior, draws the charge. 35 seconds to go, 34.9, and Pine Forest has opened up once again a 7-point lead at 72-65. We were tied at 59 with about 2.5 minutes to go. Pine Forest has run off a 13-6 run. Foul in the backcourt by McGee. Hard foul. Simmons fouling out with 26 points tonight.
Heck of an effort.
So 31.1. That is Blake Lewis at the free throw line. A lot of scoring in this game tonight. 73-65, 138 points in this game. Had to go to my third score sheet. And he makes them both. This is again going to be one of those games with the final margin as Carter launches a long three. Pine Forest comes away with it, and at what point does Escambia stop fouling? They will.
Oh my!
Wow!
How about an exclamation point?
And getting the foul. Wow. Well, that's the sophomore Weatherspoon, and we know why C.J. Washington was so high on him.
I mean, even the Escambia fans are pretty much in awe over that.
And now a lot of Escambia fans are either making their way to the exit and a timeout on the floor, and they will take a timeout. There's some talking back and forth. Tommy Carter for Escambia just saying, hey man, just calm down. There's a lot of woofing going on by Pine Forest after this play. Here it is again from this angle. Look at that. Just boy, takes the foul from Kyler. I thought he was reacting to the foul, but it's a heck of a play. Spectacular basket, and that is Devin Weatherspoon.
Give me the fifth. There's the fifth foul also on Kyler.
Right. Well, Pine Forest is going to win it. The Escambia fans have seen enough.
They also have a technical foul, it looks like, that they're going to assess on Pine Forest. Players getting up off the bench, leaving the bench, and going out onto the court. So he's got one free throw coming up, and then Escambia will get a couple.
Well, we're looking at I'm looking at Quadell Evans has made a lot of big plays. You could go to, the guards who sort of control things for Pine Forest. We're discussing our candidates for our player of the game. I really like what Quadell Evans did all the way around, and now the Gators were throwing, giving some fans toy basketballs. and some of them are making their way from the stands onto the court, so they're delaying things here.
So Escambia will now get 2 free throws on that administrative technical after Witherspoon missed the and one. Can't really blame Witherspoon for missing that. There's a lot of energy going through your body after that. It's kind of hard to rein it back in. And you know what? Tempers flared. There's a lot of energy after that. But I tell you what, there's a lot of excitement from Escambia fans. You know, there's a lot of people here that are basketball fans. And that was an impressive dunk.
Well,
anyway you slice
he took a hard foul and still converted the slam. He is a sophomore. He's an energetic sophomore. It was a heck of a play. And, you know, you're a sophomore in varsity. You make a play like that, you're going to feel it.
And you know what? It's the end of the game. Fans are fired up. I didn't think anything really got too out of hand.
I was afraid it was going to.
And I didn't think
there was
did.
some talking, and it looked like it was about to. And you know, fortunately, it did not get to that point. It was on the edge, though.
It was, but they cooled it down. Tommy Carter, there was a discussion in there. But you know what? It didn't look like it was that heated of a discussion.
No.
And they separated it before it got to that point. So as much energy as there was, I didn't think anything really escalated to an absurd point here.
No. Well, my greater concern really was with some of the fans. I mean, as soon as the play was over, and so Carter hits both technical free throws. As soon as the play was over, I mean, you might have seen it in the replay in the background. Fans were coming out of the stands, and there was some talking between some fans and some of the either Pine Forest fans or maybe the Pine Forest bench, and that's where I thought it might get out of hand. Right. There's Frank Murphy, making sure everything's under control on that side of the court, and keeping his eye out for just to make sure we finish the final 17.3 seconds in good order here. Carter, the long three from Carter, who's off the mark, and a rebound and a foul on Nigel Tart. And going to the line will be Khalid Young. Well, what a game it turned out to be. Remember, Pine Forest led this by 15 late in the second quarter. There was a technical foul, and Tommy Carter went to the line and converted 4 straight free throws right at the end of the quarter. It ended a 6-point run that cut the halftime margin to 9. And then the Gators with a great second half comeback in the fourth quarter after tying the game at the end of the third quarter. And now Carter will just walk it up. They may launch one more, but the Pine Forest is going to win this one by 10 or 7. It's going to be 10. 77-67 the final. Pine Forest knocks off Escambia. So the Gators lose their 10th in their last 11, but we have seen that those results, at least from that standpoint, perhaps a bit misleading. Once again, competitive in defeat. 77-67, Pine Forest wins it. We'll be back with the player of the game, and we will present the victory trophy to Pine Forest when we come back. What a show it was. Pine Forest emerges victorious here at Escambia. 77-67 was the final. We're standing by here with head coach C.J. Washington. We talked about in the pregame show about Escambia being a heck of a lot tougher than their record. What a game tonight. You had a 15-point lead. They stormed back, and you had to hold them off.
They always fight. When we come in, and anytime you play Escambia, with the history it goes back to, you know what I mean, long time, you know you got to come out and you got to fight. You can't take any players off because they're going to continue to fight. They're a heck of a team. They just keep going and keep going. They plug away. But, hey, we came out with a victory.
What is it that you liked about the way your team played? I mean, we're getting close to district tournament time, and we've talked about building towards that. What do you like about what you saw on your team tonight?
Just continue to build. Relentless. They just keep fighting. They play for each other. They play for us. They play for the school. They play for the community. And, you know, when you're playing that way and you're gelling that way, anything can happen.
They also played for the trophy that's in Tommy Thrall's hand, which is now your proud trophy for winning this game tonight. The great rivalry between you two. Congratulations. Got a great night from a lot of guys, but Quadell Evans is the one who did so many things tonight. We made him our player of the game.
Well, he came out and he played the way we wanted him to play down in the post. I mean, he did things for us. He got us rebounds, and he just came out and played.
Waddell, congratulations to you. Let's talk to you about this performance. Before I forget, though, what is your reaction to Devin's slam dunk at the end?
Oh, man, he just really did it. He always talk about it, but he did it this time. He actually did it.
Is that something that you see a lot of, or are you just waiting for it?
I was waiting on it.
Talk about this game tonight and your team's effort, your effort, and what you felt you had to do tonight to be successful.
I mean, we came in this game knowing we had to play defense. I mean, the Escambians, they're a good team. So we had to play defense and get a lot of defensive stops and work the post.
Now you're looking ahead. I mean, you've still got some work to do between now and district tournament time. Where do you think you stand as far as being ready as a team for district play?
I know I got a lot of stuff to work on, so we're just going to get back in the gym at practice and do a lot more work.
Congratulations on the win tonight. Congratulations on being our player of the game.
Thanks.
Waddell Evans, Pine Forest Eagles, congratulations as they emerge victorious here at Escambia tonight, 77-67. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations, guys. All right, Tommy, heck of a ball game.
Boy, it was a fun night of basketball, really accentuated by Witherspoon's dunk at the end. You talked about it earlier. The score really doesn't indicate how close this game was. Another example, Escambia gets so close, just unable to finish it off. But it's also an example, like you talked with Coach, of just how good this Pine Forest team is, and they seem to be getting better. Really a good sign for them moving forward. This could be a team that could make a run.
We will see. There's a lot of basketball between now and the district tournament. But for tonight, Pine Forest is the winner, 77-67 over Escambia. For Tommy Thrall, for Daniel Hemme, Jack Canavan, our entire crew, this is Dan Shugart saying good night from Escambia.